Okay, so before we get into this video, I just need to apologize because I was clearly very stuffed up when I did this recording. I don't know, allergies or I don't know what, but I powered through it and it just is what it is. So, you know.
Scientists tell me that the space in my nasal cavity is so dense that nothing can escape it. Not even light. I can't breathe.
And I also have to give a thank you to Q, who actually did help with the production of this particular installment. And without further delay, let's go ahead and get into this video. Hello, Mom, and everyone else. Welcome back to Mostly for Mom. This is gonna be the video on the cheesecake, and it first was pretty long, and I'm actually gonna try to. I decided I'm just gonna do a voiceover because otherwise it would be a 40-minute video, and I don't know. I don't know how it got away from me like that, but it did. So we are just gonna get into this. And we're going to start with a springform pan. I had no idea what these were. And first of all, I should say that this recipe comes from Snoop Doggy Dogg. Wait, nope, that's not right. It's Martha Stewart. I don't know why. I always get those two confused. Anyway, Martha Stewart. And you have to use a springform pan. And she had the brilliant advice of the bottom part of the pan. This is what I'm describing here. See where there's a lip on the bottom on one and not on the other? That's because I've inverted the bottom one so that from the inside of the pan, when you go to take the band off, it'll slide off of that pretty easy rather than having a lip you have to contend with. So that's where we're at with that. And as you can see, when I take off the band, that's kind of how it's just to kind of explain how that goes. So we coat the bottom with butter. Or coat the whole thing with butter, actually. Get all that done so that cheesecake will fly out of there very easily once we get finished. And then the other thing we got to do is wrap it with tin foil. So I crisscross them, and you're doing this because you're actually going to put the springform pan, once you're ready to bake it, in a pan of water. So the heat from the water is boiling water, as you will see, will help to actually bake this cheesecake. So we got to do that to make sure that we don't get water in our cheesecake. Next thing we're going to do is make the crust. It's going to be a graham cracker crust, and for that I'm going to use this here food processor. Mine's really fancy. You don't have to go this fancy. You can use you can probably get others, but this is my food processor. I can say you probably get it at Walmart, something like that. But there are other options available as far as food processors. So once we get all that done, we're gonna put some brown sugar in there, and we are also gonna put some melted butter in there. And what you want in the end is for that crust to kind of feel like wet sand. Another thing that Snoop Dogg, Martha, suggested is that we put a little lemon into the crust. A little nervous about this when I'm doing it. I'm not real sure about it, but I'm going to give it a go. Just see, because it's supposed to cut the richness of the. I just don't want a lemon cake. I don't like a lemon cake. So anyway, use lemon zest. Here's my zester, and just like with the food processor, you don't have to use a fancy zester like mine. You can find others, but I decided to go this route. And so we get all that in there, we mix it up, and then we should be feeling basically like wet sand. And then, of course, we got to press it into the springform pan. Seemed like a lot of crust. I used one full package of graham crackers, but that's okay. I mean, the graham cracker crust is nice, but I was a little concerned that maybe I had way too much or whatever, but I just pushed it way up the sides, as you can see. And then after that, we're going to make the filling. This filling is crazy. It calls for 5 blocks, 5 half-pound blocks of cream cheese. That sounds like a lot. It's because it is. But that's all right. So we got that in there, and then we're gonna whip that up. It's at room temperature as well, so that helps. You know, make sure it's at room temperature, otherwise it's gonna be a little difficult. So we do that. We're gonna put in some sugar. I think it was like 1.25 cups of sugar, and I didn't use refined sugar. I used this, cane sugar, organic cane sugar. So we get that all nice and whipped up. Here, I'm just going to elbow you in the face a little bit. Sorry, those darn left-handers. We're really marginalized in the world, you know. A little bit of salt, precisely that much. And then we also put a little bit of lemon, about a tablespoon of lemon, into the batter, the cake batter. And so that's exactly 1 tablespoon. If you know, you know. And then we add the eggs, and you add them one at a time to make sure that they're completely incorporated so you don't end up with any egg white that's just hanging out by itself. So then we had a couple of these eggs here. I'm not sure what the deal was. You think they're going to just break right away, and they somehow escape. Look at that. Are you kidding me? Come back here. Hey. Look at that. You've got to be kidding me. Wow. Okay. That's a very resilient egg yolk right there. And then we're going to add, I believe it was 1 cup of sour cream. I'll put the recipe down in the description down there just so you know. And some vanilla. Mom always says double the vanilla, so we probably put about 2 teaspoons of vanilla in there. And we go ahead and whip it up. And surprisingly, it tastes a lot like cheesecake. So I'm going in the right direction, I guess, at this point. Oh, maybe I didn't mention this either. You actually bake the crust for about 12 to 15 minutes at 350, I think it is, just to make sure it turns into a crust. Strangely, you want the crust to be a little bit crusty, so that's why you do that. And I thought I had way too much batter. I thought I was going to overflow, but look at that. I actually got it to fit in there pretty well. Pretty. All right, so usually you're going to have a roasting pan or something like that. I did not have one of those, and what I'm using is a pan for my air fryer. This turns out to be not the best idea, but it's the one I went with. So we put a little boiling water in there so that it is ready to go into the oven. I believe that it starts off at 375 in the oven. And then here we go. After baking for the requisite time, here we end up with a cheesecake. Now, I've never made a cheesecake before. I don't eat a whole lot of cheesecake. From time to time I do. Usually when I get the cheesecake, I don't remember this crust being on the top, the brown crust. It's like just, that cheesecake color. So I thought I messed up at first. I was like, maybe I overdid it or whatever. But now when I take this tinfoil off, lo and behold, there's water in there. As you can see, there's a little hole in the aluminum foil. So I was worried that too much water may have gotten in there and ruined the whole kit and caboodle. But we take off the springform pan, and that's where the water was, right down there. But it seemed to be okay. It didn't fall apart when I opened it, when I took it out of the pan. So we're good. I'm just going to leave it to cool for the next 20 minutes or so, and I'm just going to leave it on that pan. And actually what I did is I decided to put it back in the oven for a little bit just to try to dry up that side, which worked pretty well. And it all stayed intact, so I'll take it. I'll take it. So I guess that looks like, but as you can see, that's the water damage. We had some water damage on our cheesecake, but I think we mitigated it all right. And then it's on to actually tasting the cheesecake. So when we shot this video, I had already, of course, I had to try it the night before, so I had some. But here we're just going to go ahead and cut another slice so Kathy and I can try it on camera. And evidently, according to Martha, I'm not sure if she collaborated with Snoop Dogg on this or not, but evidently you're supposed to run the knife under warm water first before you make the slice. I guess it's easier to go through the cheesecake that way. Couple different angles. All right, so let's get this big old slice of cheesecake. Look at that. Look at that. That actually looks like cheesecake. Actually looks like cheesecake. Pretty impressed. Crust looks good. Beautiful. And then to that, we're going to add some Mateo's salsa. This might be a weird twist for you, but salsa and cheesecake go right. No, that's just a jar that I have some triple berry pie filling in it, and it's got strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries, or something like that. And we're just gonna spoon that right over that delicious looking cheesecake. Isn't that, man? I did that first time ever. Which means if I can do it, you can do it too. If you want some cheesecake, make some cheesecake. And it really goes a long way. I'm doing this recording a while later, and it's I know, you know, some of this stuff that I'm making, I'm just going to start giving half of it away because we don't eat that kind of sweet stuff that much. It was delicious, had a few pieces, but yeah, I think we still have some that I wrapped up in a plastic wrap and put in the freezer, like a quarter of it, to be honest. And yeah, it's just hard to get through it all unless you have like a party or something like that and everybody's going to be eating it. But eating a whole cheesecake, I'm telling you what, between two people, it's quite a task. But there we go. Look at that. Good looking cheesecake. Very delicious. Very happy. I'll do it again. I'm like I said, I'll give them away, or maybe I'll make two smaller ones and then give one of them away. I think might be the best way to go. I mean, yes, I suppose I could smaller the recipe if I wanted to, but that's no fun.
And, you know, I'll be home sitting with my friends, and we'll be sitting around, and somebody will say, "Hey, let's get small."
To be honest, I think I'd rather give it away. But there's a nice bite. Look at that. Delicious cheesecake. Wow. Yeah, I got to say, really impressed. Give it a shot. That is just money in the bank right there. And like Martha Stewart always says, you got to keep your mind on your money and your money on your mind. So, well, thanks for being here. Thanks for enjoying this cheesecake with me. Give it a shot. Like I said, I'll keep the recipe down there in the description, and you can go ahead and try it out yourself. I might even include a link to Martha Stewart's video on this. Because she's much better at, she's just so pleasant to listen to. But anyway, you can check that out as well. And so that is it. That's the cheesecake. So yeah, how about that? I actually made cheesecake and it turned out really well. So hope you enjoyed that. And thank you for being here. Love you, Mom, and I love everyone else who happens to be watching this. Again, if you have any questions, comments, considerations, suggestions, anything, requests, just put it down there in the comments. Let me know. But if you liked it, like it. If you want to follow, follow. And I'm just going to keep putting out these videos as I can. All right. Take care, y'all, and thank you once again for being here.